The Starling sounded like it was going to be quite a heavy emotional film, and that's certainly the case for a lot of it. It's technically a comedy drama, and I can see the comedy in it, but it's certainly a lot more, in my opinion, of a heavier film. This was released in 2021. It's directed by Theodore Melfi, written by Matt Harris, with a cast including Melissa McCarthy and Chris O'Dowd. And they play Lilly and Jack. And early on in the film, we find out that they lost their daughter to SIDS. And Jack is in a mental health facility. So Lilly is basically having to just try and get on with her life and deal with her grief on her own, but she's not necessarily facing her own grief head on. And the Starling refers to an actual bird, an actual starling, that's in a tree when Lilly is gardening, and it's quite aggressive. It rams into her. If a bird can ram, it flies into her. And for me, that's where some of the comedy was, because it's such a comical moment to see this tiny little bird ramming into her. And I don't know exactly what they were trying to represent with the Starling. My theory is that it's representing her grief and her emotions, and how that grief is treating her, and how that might change over time. And it also serves a purpose for her to talk to the bird and maybe speak about things she's not willing to speak about with other people, with humans. And I think that the bird does have a solid role in this film. Obviously, it's called The Starling. So I found that to be quite interesting and certainly very thought-provoking. If you have any different theories on that, I'd love to know what you think. I'd love to hear from the writers. I haven't really looked into it to see if they specify what it represents, because I didn't want my own perception of what it represents to be affected. But certainly, if there is factual information about what it's definitely meant to represent, I would be very keen to find that out. And in general, it's not an easy watch. There are times when it's lighter, of course. Melissa McCarthy gives a really brilliant performance. And in general, it's not the kind of film I'd watch more than once. I think it was quite an intense experience. And it's not that it wasn't enjoyable, but it certainly was quite heavy. There are also times when it's a little dry. There are times when I feel like not a lot was happening. We weren't really moving forward very much. And in those moments, it maybe wasn't that funny either. So there are definitely periods where it slows down a bit. But to be honest, I don't mind that, because it means the emotions get a bit of a rest. So it's not perfect in that regard, but I think it tried to do something very powerful and very brave. I think it's addressing quite a few really important topics, and in general I think it handled it well. I think it did a pretty good job of that, and throwing in the Starling there was an interesting choice, and I think it works well. Do I recommend it? Yes, but it's not going to be for everybody, or it might not be for everybody all of the time. It's not the kind of film that I could watch all of the time either. So I do recommend it if you're in the right frame of mind for it. It's not perfect, as I said, but in general, I think the Starling has a lot to offer. And it made me think. It's very thought-provoking, which is never a bad thing. And ultimately, if it sounds like a film for you, then I'd say The Starling might be worth watching.